Welcome to Season 2 of the Level Up Lounge. We're back and we're better than ever. Exciting episode today with my man, Jody Tention. Check it out now.
You're listening to the Level Up Lounge podcast.
Level up. Level up.
Level up.
Level up.
Level up. You're listening to the Level Up Lounge podcast.
What's up, Level Up Lounge? I'm excited to be back. We had a little bit of a break, and now we're ready to launch Season 2 of the Level Up Lounge. This episode is amazing. We got my boy Jody Tention. You guys have heard him on the podcast before. 10-time world point fighting champion. Has some of the highest quality students that I've ever seen in a martial arts school, and is one of the best instructors and has the best seminar I've ever been to in my life. That is a martial arts physical workout seminar, was taught by this man. So I'm really excited to have him on the episode today. And then afterwards, guys, we're going to do our punch in the face segment.
A punch in the face.
And I'm going to be talking about self-evaluation in today's punch in the face segment. Right now, though, let's jump right into it with my man, Jody Tention. Really quick before I jump into things, guys, a lot of you guys know Jody, Alex, Davidoff, and myself have a course coming out called Fix Your Floor. We'll get into like some of the details like after we go over these 5 mistakes that we see pretty common. But like if you guys aren't signed up for this course yet, like Jody and I have been talking about this for over a year. We've been putting it together for probably close to a year, and it's something that's needed. Like you can always increase the quality of what you have going on your training floor. And you can always increase the quality of how you train your instructors to be more efficient on the floor as well. So, like, it's an investment in growing your school, and it's an investment in training your staff.
That's right. The foundation, my brother.
Exactly. It is the foundation for the school. All right, Jody, you ready to jump into it, man? So we're going to cover...
Yeah, man, I'm here with you, bro.
All right, these are 5 mistakes that we see really common on training floors in martial arts schools. Now, to give you guys like some background, I think everyone in this group knows me at least because I hope so. You joined my group, but Jody has probably one of the most like. First of all, let me say his school culture is amazing, but his training floor, like I just posted a video yesterday from Jody showing some drills. He's got like 6, 7, and 8-year-olds that I see with better basics and better kicks than most black belts I see at other schools. And
thank you.
Jody knows how to train quality students that are like, you look at his floor and you're like, these are a bunch of badass kids out here. Like they know what they're doing. They're efficient. They're looking good. And Jody and I really have come together and been talking a lot and interacting a lot about how to raise the bar for martial arts schools so that quality becomes a focus, because I think both of us feel like it's gotten watered down industry wide as far as the standards on the mat.
Absolutely.
Which I think is a good segue into our first mistake we see is lack of standards, right?
Yes, sir.
So
I think first is that the leader creates the culture, which creates the standard, right? Yep. And I think sometimes with school owners, not that you have those people that don't care, right? They just care about the bottom line or the top of the line. But you have those instructors that, as we said before, that gap of instructors who are generally you see 2 things. The guy who's really successful and has a horrible product.
Yep.
Or the guy who's really good at what he does, but karate is because of his second job or what he does after work, or he doesn't really have business systems set up to benefit from the quality of his product. And I think that we need to find that gap that you can be successful and make a living and produce a product that will make you happy. Like, again, there are several school owners who went and joined their own schools.
Exactly.
So I think that this is some of the things that we're talking about are some of the things that kind of help bridge that gap. No matter what, if you make more money than all of us, I'm sure that this can still help you. And I'm sure that if you don't make a certain amount of revenue, that this can still help you with a proper mindset of how to structure things to create a product as well as have a living doing this.
Yeah, and I think the standards, like, what drives me crazy is when I'm watching someone, I want these names, but when I'm watching someone's class and I see a kid clearly has the wrong leg forward or is doing the move wrong, and the instructor stops, looks at the kid, and then just keeps walking.
Yeah,
and it's like, if I'm
yes.
able to see this from over here,
Yes.
guess what? The parents are able to see it also. And like they're thinking about like, why is my son doing it incorrectly and not getting corrected? Or
Yeah.
you have where the instructor doesn't know how to communicate how to get the student to get the desired result. So they'll be like, hey, make sure you chamber. And then the kid still swings his leg. And they're like, oh, bend your knee first. And the kid swings his leg and then like recoils. And like the lack of communication and getting the desired result is a huge thing as well. So like there's a lot of things that come together in order to have a really strong, solid floor, a solid training floor. And I think that's part of the reason we decided to do this as a 12-week course is because we know it's not something that's like, hey, watch this once, do this drill with the team,
Absolutely.
and you're good, right? So like being able to communicate the standards that you want for your school and for your classes to your instructor is huge, and then them being able to communicate how to bring those standards up out of their students and how to correct in a way that's going to motivate them to want to be better and do the technique correctly and practice it and get that repetition in is huge. And right now, guys, do your instructors know how to communicate that?
Yes. Yes.
And that's my question. Just think about it.
Absolutely. And it's something that a lot of us think that one of the issues, too, is that with the standards that you're speaking about, instructors have to invest in training their staff.
Yes.
And we think, I had someone talking to me the other day, and he says, I do everything because I don't trust my staff to do it. And I said, well, how do you think eventually they're going to get to that point? Like, imagine going to the airport. And you get through the TSA, and there's a guy searching you, and he lets you through TSA, right? You get through and then you get to the gate, and the person that searched you at the gate at the TSA is now the person that takes your ticket. Then you get on the plane, and the same person that took your ticket is going, okay, guys, buckle up. If we sense turbulence, the air things will come down over your mouth. Imagine it was him, and then he looks at you and goes, I'm going to fly the plane. You're going to wear all the hats. You're going to be the airplane pilot, the TSA guy, the bag check guy. You can't wear all the hats, right?
Yep.
And your personality doesn't fit everybody. Like I'm always like this. I know that this is not for everybody, unfortunately, right?
Yep.
But I have the quieter instructor, the smooth instructor. But when we all teach, we all have the energy. And you have to put your instructors in a position to fail and succeed. There's no way you're going to lose some students and produce instructors. They're going to mess up. They're going to make a mistake. But if you get them to where you want to get them, they'll make up for all the students that you ever lost. But you got to be invested back into your instructors.
Exactly. And that's actually your perfect segue to our second point. It's untrained instructors, right? So there's this thing that happens in our industry when it's like, Jotty is a brown belt, and it's like, hey, Jotty, yo, I need you to teach today, bro. And like, you never taught a class, never been trained how to do it. And like, I think I got this from Roland, like the 3-step instructor training process. That's put on your belt, bow onto the mat, and then teach. And like that's the training that a lot of us started with. Like I was one of those people too. When I was like 12, I got put on the mat. It's like, hey, so and so's sick. You got to teach this intermediate class. And I'm over there looking at the curriculum on the wall, like trying to figure out what I'm about to teach these kids.
Yes.
And here's the thing, though, guys. Like a lot of us continue to train people, or I shouldn't even use the word train, continue to push people onto the mat that have had no training, and you're really just setting them up to fail. Like, there's a difference between what Jotty said and, like, knowing that as they start getting that responsibility and teaching that, yeah, they're going to fail along the way and they're going to make mistakes, but you have to at least set them up for success. Like, they're not going to have any confidence if you're not training them up the right way to prepare them for that situation. It's like if you put a kid out to spar at a tournament, and he's only watched sparring, he's never actually done it before, that kid's going to get destroyed and never want to spar again.
Absolutely.
And it's the same thing when you put your instructors on the mat. Like, they have to have the training in place correctly, so that way when they get out there, they're confident, and it doesn't become a bad experience for them. So, like, making sure that you understand how to train them correctly and what you should be training them on. It's not just about training them on martial arts. Like, yes, having high-quality students is going to come from having an instructor that knows the technique really well, but it's also going to come from someone that knows how to communicate the technique really well to get the students to understand it. And it's going to come from someone that knows how to communicate to the rest of the instructional team so that they can get the most out of the students in that class instead of looking on their phone or instead of just spacing off in another direction. I know, Jody, you're on the same page as me with this stuff.
And you know what I like in it too? Do you ever watch the show Chop?
Yeah.
You have the judges, and what the judges do is they give the chefs their chicken, let's say chicken, some crazy ingredient.
Twizzlers.
And then the chefs have to find a way to make whatever they had to make it tasteful or appetizing to the judges.
Yep.
It's the same thing with your teaching. Like a lot of times, as a communicator, what a sidekick means to me doesn't mean it means the same to you.
Sure.
Like I may mean it offensively, I may mean it defensively, I may mean it. You have to be able to communicate that one technique in several different manners.
Yep.
Right? Even though it's the same technique, and you got to make different points of reference because Mikey may not get it from that example that you said, where Johnny may have got it. And a lot of times we teach from a cookie cutter standpoint. We just give the information, and whoever gets it, and whoever doesn't, doesn't. And you cannot function like that and produce a high product because only the athletes will benefit in that environment.
Exactly. And I know that's something that we talked about. We're like flying right along. This is number 3, guys, of our 5 mistakes. Is like people explain in a way that only the top athletes in the class can understand. Like
Absolutely.
if you are physically gifted, you can understand how the explanation is coming and you can figure it out. But like if you're someone that is not coordinated at all, or
Not an athlete.
Yeah, someone that is not an athlete, like starting the first time, and you're just very brief with your description, you're not getting them to actually understand the concept or the technique or the movement, like they're just going to feel lost. And also, man, their confidence is going to drop because they're going to see like that one kid getting it really well, and they're going to be like, man, I ain't even close. Like I don't even understand this move.
Yes.
So making
and the sorry to cut you up.
No, you're good, bro.
And the parents, without the proper communication with the parents, start comparing. Why doesn't my son look like him?
Exactly.
Right? And then now, this where the frustration kicks in. This where you as an instructor kicks in. So the thing is that when we give the information, my thing is this: I treat the curriculum like alphabets. And, yes, I treat it like alphabets, which words make alphabets make words, words make sentences, sentences make paragraphs, paragraphs makes books. Right? And you got to teach each piece of the drill that it builds up to something.
Yep.
And a lot of times we just give them the whole hamburger. Here's a hamburger, the meat, you got the athlete will get that. The rock star will get that. In the same way he's a rock star in karate, he's going to be a rock star in basketball. He's going to be so he or she is just supernatural. But that's the minority of your school. You got to break the drills down. Like I think one of the things that we do as instructors, we don't give the student the benefit of it. We assume they're going to get it.
Yep.
And we kind of base it on, well, that's how we got it. But what you and me don't realize is that our instructors gave us a 2-hour class most of the time when we came up 20 years ago. We had a 2-hour class or a 90-minute class. These classes are now 30 minutes to 45 minutes, 2 times a week generally. So if you think about it, me and you train Adam 2 hours a day, 3 times a week. That's 6 hours a week. That's 24 hours in a month.
Yep.
The average person now trains 2 classes a week, 45 minutes maybe, which is 90 minutes a class, or 90 minutes a week, which is 6 hours a month.
Yep.
So you want them to produce the same thing that you produce with 1/4 of the time. And Adam, remember this, we didn't have the internet.
No.
If I had the internet as a kid, I would have never came to karate class. My mother had one TV. And if I couldn't watch the TV if she was watching the TV. Nowadays, kids got TV in a room with 500 channels, a cell phone. With the dynamic that we're dealing with today is not the dynamic that we have 20 years ago, but yet you want the same results. So you got to break that up and structure it how you teach. You got to teach differently to deal with this generation.
You know what's really crazy? Like while we're on this subject, like how many martial arts instructors are so proud of that kid that came in and could stick a sidekick his first class, that like naturally gifted athlete, but it's like the majority of their students that are like falling behind.
Yes.
Like, I'm more proud of that kid that came to his first class tripping over his own feet, like looked like a complete mess, and you're like, oh god, how am I going to help this kid? That kid like succeeding and becoming a black belt and having strong basics. Like I'm more proud of that kid than that kid that can flip all over the mat because he was naturally gifted, like to start that way. And I think
the crazy thing is that when you call a demonstration, you don't just got to keep calling the same kid. You should be able to look at your floor, have 40 kids and be like, you up, you up. And they said, yes, some will be better, but everybody should look a certain kind of way, a minimum standard.
Exactly. 100%. That's awesome, man. I knew you were going to go for the alphabet. I knew it.
I'm just saying, man, that's how I teach everything. And when we give you these drills, we'll break it down like that for you as the instructor. I won't take it for granted.
All right, here's one that I love. So, like, talking about, Johnny, like, how you and I used to train. Like, my black belt test, I don't know what you did for yours. My black belt test was, like, 27 forms. It was, like, 350 self-defense skills, crazy amounts of sparring, 1 steps, 2 steps, 3 steps, like, all of our basics, everything, right?
Yes.
So the one thing that Johnny and I were talking about is, like, a lot of people you guys are slaves to your curriculum. Like, you guys are trying to grow your business in something that can only be done with, like, 6, 8, 10 hours of training a week in really small classes. And maybe Sunday practice also, because we used to practice Sundays back in the day too to get ready. So, like, a lot of you guys need to take a look at your curriculum and see if it's structured in a way that's going to help really to reinforce solid basics and solid martial arts techniques. Because when you have to do 350 self-defense skills, how good are you going to be at any one of those? Like,
absolutely,
there's no repetition there, right?
Absolutely. And the other side of it is too. I'm gonna just tell you an example of what happened to me. I had 50 students, 50 killers, right? Just people would walk in my school and go, "Oh my God, how did you make them like this?" And then we grew to 100. And what was good for 50, my lines, my form, wasn't good for 100. I had to break that up. And then what was good for 100, when we got to 150, it wasn't good for that. And then when we got to 200, it wasn't good. I was like, wait a minute. And then I started dropping off in quality. So I was like, wait a minute. Something I'm doing, because I felt like I was becoming that guy. I was making some money, but I was becoming that guy. So we had to start formatting the classes different. We had to start teaching different. We started to break the drills down different. And then there are times of the month where we as instructors, we have something that we call quality control. So that whole week of quality control.
Quality control? What's that? This is martial arts school.
I watch every detail. When you pivot your hip, where your hands is at when you punch. Do you have the proper chamber? But we make it fun. Not with just you on your hand on the wall and you just do the drill.
Yep.
We make it fun and interesting. We got the kids reinforcing, working on chambers, and they're loving it. But it's your job as the instructor to be creative with how you give the information if you want to be, my God, she just cut the lights off. Sorry, thank you. If you want to produce the product, you have to go about making a quality product, and you have to look at your students.
Exactly.
You know?
So I think,
and instructors have to be creative in how they do that. And there's several ways to get to the same spot being creative.
I'm going to piss some people off. Just play games, yo. Right?
See, you got to play games, and you got to play a lot of games, and then you give the games power by saying this is for focus. Listen, if you're in a karate school, and I play games too. Let me say this first. I play games too. But if I'm in a karate school, the games are to make sure that you develop as a karate person.
Yep.
If you're just going to justify games only, then you see, this is what happens, Adam. I'm going to say this, but I wrote this down. So I wanted to make sure I didn't forget what I said. You ready for what I'm about to say, brother?
I'm ready. Okay. See, the whole reason I brought this up was because I wanted to send you on a rant. So I'm ready.
Those who are inferior in instruction, the only reason they are successful right now in what they are doing is because those who are blessed have abandoned it. We have abandoned the systems. We have abandoned the protocol. So the lazy person who's not that good can come in right now and sell me and you a program, label it with games and cute little things to justify the lack of martial arts instructor. And I'm not saying this with anybody in mind, but I don't care about what you're selling me. Show me the bottom line. This is what you do, and this is your program. Then show me what your black belts look like. And if they look like something, then I don't want to follow. Show me that model. But don't sell me a shitty hamburger, excuse me, and then just be like, you know what? Hey, this is what I do. No, I want to show me. Look, even in those cooking shows, isn't presentation a part of the meal?
Exactly.
So we always talk this integrity stuff, but 90% of us would not join our own schools, man. And it's our obligation as instructors, as obligation as instructors to be stepped back. And even though the worst one of us is still a product that you could be, maybe he won't be the best fighter, maybe he won't be the best form person, but his hand pop back and change, but his knee is in the right direction when he throws his kicks and his punches. That's what we got to get back to. And here's the way of doing it. There's a system of doing it.
Here's the thing, guys. Like, Johnny and I are talking about this stuff. You might be thinking, like, oh, that's not me. Like, that's not me. I focus on quality. That's not me. But here's the thing, guys. Like, you have to have Johnny getting the side eye. You have to have continued education for your instructors. Like, it's not just like, hey, you train them how to teach once, let them go, right? Like, because systems break down when training is not consistent, right? So you have to have the consistent training going on the entire time. Secondly, you have to be doing consistent evaluations of your instructors to make sure that they are following the systems that are in place. Because I know a lot of you guys had that goal of sort of just being able to come in a few hours a week and sort of teach when you want, which is a great goal to have. I think that's awesome. But if the systems aren't in place and the systems aren't being followed, you're going to see a quick drop-off in the quality of martial arts that's happening at your school. You're going to show up to one of your belt tests and be like, man, what the hell happened? Like, how did I let it get this way? So making sure that you guys are continually doing this, and then also, guys, like, you can never, like, improve too much. Like, it's not a thing. So, like, this course that Johnny and I have put together, really, guys, is about making sure that there's some new training methods out there. There's focus on bringing the quality out of your students and making sure that it's not just all focused on those A students, right? Those A students, the naturally gifted people, but, like, motivating those kids that feel like they have to come to class right now.
Absolutely.
And motivating the kids that are sort of just, like, going through the flow of the motion, that aren't, like, awful, aren't great. Like, how do you get those kids to step up their game? And that's really what this is about. And I shouldn't just say kids, but, like, students in general, is motivating them to become the best versions of themselves through your martial arts program. And then motivating your instructors to communicate that to the kids to get them to be the best versions of themselves.
And when you do that, it's an easy sell. There are people that walk in my school. I don't care if it's a white belt class. I swear to this. They'll be talking to Miss Sharon or myself, and they'll keep looking at my floor while they're talking to me. So I'm explaining to them the program, and they just like, man, these kids look good. The energy in here is crazy. Like, you've been to my school. Oh, yeah. The energy is crazy. It's packed. People like, oh, listen, I'm in the Bronx, right? And I don't say this. And the average income is, where I'm at, the household is $36,000 household. We charge $200 a month. Never with 20 students. And you've been as packed. And people come and look and go, Joe, this is crazy. I have instructors who own schools who are a part of my school. Like, this is crazy how y'all do this in here. And it's just all about just it's just taking the time and making learning the basics fun. And stop feeling like you're a slave to your curriculum. Well, one of the problems is that you got a guy who have a yellow belt student and he got to learn 5 kicks. Front kick with his back leg, roundhouse with his front leg, roundhouse with his back leg, side kick, hook kick, all of this for yellow belt. And then you want to know why the chambers are not right, why the kick don't look right. Not counting the form, like you said, not counting the break falls, the self-defense, and you got all this as a yellow belt. He got a 30-minute class 2 times a week.
And then you give your instructor shit for him having crappy technique. Yes. Where it's really the curriculum is not setting anyone up for success, right? And
then to make it up, you label it with a life skill to make it sound good. Well, it's about perseverance. No, tell the truth. Tell the truth, man. We gotta tell the truth. Tell the truth. You doing that for the lack of instruction. Yes. Tell the truth. Great instruction, great life skill. Right now, there's a whole bunch of life skill and minimum instruction, and you justifying it, and that's a scam.
So here's what I think you guys need to do if you're watching this is, like, one of the things we always say when we're teaching business techniques to people is like, hey, if your business is failing, like, it's the responsibility is solely on you. It's not on anyone else. It's not on the economy. It's not on anything else. It's on you. Like, it's lack of discipline on you. So here's the thing I want you guys to think about. I want you guys to think about your instructional staff right now. I want you guys to think about the training that they're getting from you. I also want you guys to think of the quality of the students on the mat right now, and if they're where they need to be. And really, guys, thinking about all of that, it all falls back to you. Even if you're an owner that's not in the school all the day, the lack of training for your team, the lack of quality on the mat, any of those failing areas really comes back to you. So it comes back to you needing to invest in yourself and needing to invest in your instructors to train them the right way and really making sure that they're focusing on getting the most out of your students. I guarantee you guys, if the parents at your school are seeing progress, and I'm not talking about going from belt to belt, because you can go from belt to belt and still have no standards, and it becomes a belt factory and everyone still looks like crap, right? No, I'm talking about, like, they see progress in the kick. They see the kick developing more power. They see the chambering getting better. They see the kick getting higher. That's the type of progress I'm talking about. They see the kid becoming more confident because he feels stronger. He feels faster. He feels more fit. That's the progress I'm talking about. When parents see that progress, they are sold. They are completely sold on your program, and that kid is going to be trained to black belt and beyond. The problem is lack of progress. Like, it gets to a point where the kid just is skating along like this the entire time, and the parent doesn't see the progress, so why is the parent still paying you to have their kid go there?
Or when a kid comes in, this has happened. I have kids that have come to my school from other schools to sign up, and I said, well, they're black belts. Most of the time, it's not all the time. And I go, well, right now in the beginning class, why don't you let them in the beginning class? And the parents feel like their money was stolen for the last 3 or 4 years. Like, this is crazy. Like, your yellow belts look like this is crazy. I feel, and how does that black belt feel now? I've had black belt kids. I'm like, well, if you want to keep your belt, and they're like, no, I want to start all over again, because they see the value in what you're producing, what the end result is going to look like.
That was such an awesome conversation with Jody. One of the things that him and I have been focusing on and talking about over and over for a really long time, and if you watch the vlog, you got a little bit of insight into our planning for this course. We've really been focusing on making sure that we're trying to get the entire martial arts industry to step up the game and really, really improve the quality of the instruction in their classes, train their staff better to become well-equipped, more confident martial arts instructors, and really focus on improving the standards of their training floor and making sure that the instructors know how to communicate to do that. And that's just a really important thing to us as two people that have grown up in this industry and have visited hundreds of martial arts schools. We want to really help everyone to step their game up. And if you feel like you can improve your floor at your school, if you feel like the way that you train your staff can be improved, it's really easy, guys. You go to nbsp.com. You'll see on the homepage there'll be a Fix Your Floor course that you guys can enroll, and that's the course that Jody and I have put together along with Alex Davidoff. And in that course, it's a 12-week course, guys. We're going to teach you how to train your team. We're going to teach you how to raise the standards of your floor to get higher quality students as well. And here's the thing, guys. There's 2 different ways you can pay for it. You can pay one time $297 for all 12 weeks, or if that is too much all up front for you, what you can do is you can elect to do 3 monthly payments of $99. Still comes out to $297 either way. But we want to make sure that we're opening this up to as many school owners as possible. After the first 100 register, the price does go up, so just make sure you get on it sooner. We want you to take action. We don't want people joining in this. They're just going to be there to watch, right? We want you actually taking action. We have different accountability checks set up throughout the course as well. And this is a chance for you guys to really step up your game as business owners, as martial arts instructors, and really raise the standards and the quality of your school. So I really hope you guys take advantage of it. So again, mabusinessuniversity.com. All right, next, we're going to jump to our Punch in the Face segment.
Now it's time to take a punch in the face.
All right, guys, today I am focused on self-evaluation. So what I really want you guys to do is I want you to take a moment and grab a piece of paper, and if you need to pause the podcast to do that, go for it. But really, I want you to make a list on your piece of paper, and this is going to be in regards to your business, specifically thinking about your classes and your instructional team, okay? And you're going to make a list of strengths and weaknesses of your team as a whole, of your classes. So you need to watch some classes, and also as you as an instructor. And as you start to make those strength and weakness lists, make sure you're 100% honest with you. Like, if you are a new person coming in, or if it was me sitting inside your school, what would I be writing down as the strengths of the classes and the strengths of the instructors? What would I be writing down as really common weaknesses that I'm seeing throughout the classes, okay? Now, once you're making this list, what I want you guys to think about is what do you need to do in order to take those weaknesses and turn it into strengths, right? What actions do you have to take in order to get those off the weakness list and get them to a point where it's just strong quality traits that you've added into your arsenal? Here's the thing, guys. Doing this once a quarter is super important. Doing it once a month is even more important. So at least once a month, you should be checking out the classes in your school. You should be watching or participating in the classes, so you get a great idea of what the student experience is. And I encourage you guys to do it with beginner, advanced, black belt. Like, take all the classes at your school at least once a month, so that way you can do a quality check on those classes. And we have an evaluation form that we're going to be posting in our Level Up Martial Arts community, as well as the martial arts business community, tomorrow. And we're recording this on Tuesday, April 10th. So Wednesday, April 11th, you'll be able to find it in our groups. So if you don't feel like making that pros and con list, use the class evaluation form and use that as a way to assess the quality of your product, which is what parents are watching on the floor, what your students are experiencing on the floor. And if you feel like you're not hitting the point total that you need to be once you watch some classes, then you know what, I suggest you guys think about setting goals that are going to help you get to where you need to be. So get an instructor training program in place. Start training your instructors on what to look for, how to correct properly to get the best results, how to communicate efficiently so everyone in your school is learning things the exact same way, right? And this is something that's super important that you need to really train your team on how to do. And if it's you that's the problem, then that's really some self-reflection that you need to get some more training for yourself, right? Maybe at one time you were a really motivated and passionate instructor, but as taking on more of the business side has come on, you've started to lose your energy as an instructor. Maybe you really need to step it up and sort of get retrained on some of those basics. Whatever it is, guys, don't just let those weaknesses stay in place. The only way your business is going to grow and you're going to get the opportunity to teach more people is by improving those weaknesses. So really, guys, just self-evaluate your business and your classes specifically this week, and then take action on ways to improve it. So that was this week's segment of Punch in the Face. All right, guys, thanks for joining Season 2, Episode 1 of Level Up Lounge. Thank you to Johnny Tention, and thank you to Team Perella and Martial Arts Business Community for hosting our Fix Your Floor course. It is going to be out of this world. As of right now, there's 70 spots left. By tomorrow, that's going to be cut in half. I guarantee it, guys. So do not wait too long. Get signed up. Peace.